Hey everybody, I'm Jason Wright with Cisco Security, and I'm going to talk to you today about how we solve a very pervasive and significant challenge that customers are facing with securing their networks, and that's complexity and fragmentation. We've talked about this as part of the challenge when I talked about the before, during, and after model, and in fact, it has some of the same aspects where we have new technologies that are constantly coming onto the network, and Internet of Things and other things that are causing security to try to catch up. Right? And so new technologies come out and then we try to secure it. And that's not really the way we should do it if security was a priority, but that's the way that it happens. And in addition, these technologies and security technologies, they're not just rolled out all at once. There are projects that occur. So pockets of technologies are rolled out individually, and that creates kind of a patchwork and some complexity. And finally, the evolution of the threat, constantly changing and evolving, and we need to be able to respond to that. So what we end up with all of these problems is this patchwork of security devices from different vendors looking at different aspects of the network from different devices. And you know, you end up with just a complete mess of technologies, and your heart goes out to the administrators who are doing the best they can with what they've got. But that's part of the problem, is that this stuff is expensive to buy from all these different vendors in a piecemeal fashion. Right? And in fact, we've talked to customers that have had over 70 vendors in their security architecture. 70. That's crazy. And that just provides all these different management consoles that the security admins have to use to be able to manage and maintain the technologies, right? And so it's not just expensive to buy, it's expensive to own and operate, and that's operational expenses, right? And then these technologies, they're all from different vendors and they're doing their own thing, and they just see a little sliver of what's happening out there instead of the whole picture of the entire network. And even what they do see, they're not sharing it with other security technologies, they just kind of keep it to themselves. And what we end up with is this patchwork of technologies, and you end up with a spider web that kind of has a bunch of holes in it and with lines going in wrong directions, and we need a better spider web. We need a complete view of the entire network as an attack surface. And that's what we get from Network as a Sensor that you'll hear about in these videos. And that gives us more visibility into what's happening across the entire network. And so much of our advantage is based on this visibility. Because once we have information and visibility about the network, we can correlate and we can understand and make better security decisions. And we don't just keep it to ourselves, we share that information. Right? So the next generation IPS is talking to the Identity Services Engine, which is talking to the malware analysis platform, and we're communicating threat data for a much more effective solution that reduces the holes in the web that we're trying to weave here. And finally, it makes it much more simple to use and operate when we're reducing management consoles. And we've done this, and we talk about it with identity services, one policy, one management console. We're doing it with network security as well. And by the time you read this, we'll probably have new models out there that are reducing the number of management consoles. So this reduces operational expenditures, and we'll keep moving down that path to simplify the use of our solution. And then not just the use of it, but actually the cost to acquire it in the first place, the capital expenditures. That's why we have things like the enterprise licensing agreement. When we offer a complete solution, we can offer all these components at a reduced price. And that's what the enterprise licensing agreement, or ELA, is all about. So we can position that for security. So you should be very excited about this particular topic. Let this be a driver of your conversations, because nobody else can do what we do. Nobody else has the breadth of technologies, and even if they did, they're not communicating. And you can ask questions that start to tap into those advantages with your customers. Like, how many vendors do you have in your organization that are running security for you? And you'll be surprised at the number that come out. And then of those that are in the network now, how many of them are sharing information with other products in the security suite and in the security architecture? And you're going to find not very many. And then finally, I love this question. How many of those vendors could you get rid of if you had a Cisco Security ELA? Right now you're talking about simplification, reduced costs, and in fact, better security, because we're building a better spider web. So let this be a driver of conversations for you as you're talking to your customers. We take complexity and fragmentation into simple security effectiveness. And that's what we bring to the table. So if you want to learn more, always check out the website at cisco.com/go/security. I've been Jason Wright, and thanks for tuning in.